welcome back to What's Sewing On. Today I'm going to be making a Regency gown out of a curtain. I showed the curtain in my 2021 fabric haul video. So I went thrifting and I found this curtain for $10. There was a few rips, a few stains on it, but I absolutely loved the curtain. I fell in love with it. So I bought this curtain for the Foundations Revealed competition, and the theme is Once Upon a Time. Basically, you can make any type of garment based off of a literary character. So today is the day I'm going to be starting that dress. So I found this curtain panel weeks after I heard about the competition, and I had zero idea of what character I was going to do. And then I saw this curtain and I fell in love with it, and I was like, what character can I do based off this curtain? Not the other way around. So I was thinking about it and thinking about it, and I think I have an idea. I could picture the dress exactly how I wanted it, and the closest pattern I have to it is Butterick 6630. Dress B is very similar to what I was thinking of when I saw the curtain panel. I really love the puff sleeves. I like the open front. I'm not going to be doing the long sleeves, and I'm not going to be doing the neck ruffle, but everything else is pretty spot on. So then once I decided on the character, we ended up going in lockdown. So that gave me no chance of going to buy anything new for this project. So basically for the underdress, I had to use something I already had. Luckily, I have this king-size bed sheet. It's off-white, a little bit of a gray tinge to it. It's 100% polyester, but it has a shine that kind of looks like satin. So I think it's going to work well. I got this bed sheet months ago, and I basically bought it just so I can do mock-ups out of it. So that's basically what I'm going to use for it because I don't have any other options. And my whole idea was that everything I'm going to be using for this project is going to be thrifted or secondhand. For my undergarments, I actually made Regency stays last week specifically for this project, and everything that I used in there, notions, material, everything was thrifted. And today, both of my dresses are going to be completely thrifted as well, down to the thread. So I'm really happy with this. My total cost for all of the material and notions for the dresses and for the stays is a total of $21. So I'm pretty happy with that budget price, and I think it goes along great with Foundations Revealed and what they do. Because I have so much to do, I ended up cutting all my pattern pieces out yesterday, and I started cutting dress A last night. So basically all of my pieces are cut out, and today all I have to do is start putting them together. I decided to start with the underdress because both dresses are very similar in construction. So if I do the underdress first, if I need to fix anything, I'll be able to remember that for the outer dress. So let's get to it. Thread everywhere. This is the lining. Barely any fabric. Ooh, she's gonna be low cut. Not my forte. All right, so my bodice needs a lot of trimming, but I have the front and the backs stitched together for the lining and the outer fabric. So now I just have to pin the lining to the outer fabric, right sides together. This is the first time. I don't really have many projects that have a lot of lining, I guess. But this is the first time I did the lining and the bodice at the same time, which is weird. I don't know what's easier, and I don't know what's normal, because normally you go through all of your steps. It will say, do the lining the same as the one before. So I've always done all of the steps first, and then I go back, basically cut the lining, and then do it again. So it seems like it probably is the same amount of time, but it seems like doing it, you know, the darts on both first, sewing the sides together, the arms together, all at the same time for the lining and the bodice makes way more sense. And I don't know why I never even thought of that before. Oh, is that something everybody does and I just am the last one to the party on this? You'll have to let me know. The more you know. Oh, I think I'm gonna need more pins. Wait. Wait. No. Wait. right sides together, not a right and a wrong. Ugh. Okay, the interfacing isn't that thick. Stop being a little bit. Yesterday I finished the bodice. I had a lot of trouble with this right sleeve, completely my fault. Whenever I put the band on the sleeve, I ended up putting it on the wrong side. So the pleats ended up being outside instead of inside. So I had to, instead of picking apart the arm band and unpicking all of the slip stitches I did, I ended up just taking it off, opening up the pleats again, reversing them to the inside, sewing it back up, and then putting it back onto the sleeve. And then once it was on the sleeve, I went to put it on the dress form, thought it was good, and then I realized that the middle stitch under the arm that should go with the middle stitch on the side of the bodice was actually over here. I had aligned it with the wrong seam. So then I had to unpick it again and then redo it again. And by that point, I was just knew I should probably call it a night, but I really wanted to get the skirt finished. My camera ended up dying, so last night I kind of rage stitched the skirt panels together. And yeah, so the skirt is put together. The lining and the main fabric are all put together. I've given everything a good press. So basically now I just have to flip this inside out, attach it to the bodice, sew that down, and then there is a back panel I have to put on the dress once it's complete. And then the top of the dress is put together with eyelets going down so you can lace it up. So I'm hoping that I can get all this put together with no issues, but it's a new day, so there'll be new issues. And then I need to start cutting my curtain for the outside of the dress, which I'm terrified to do because I absolutely love the curtain panel, but this was the whole purpose for the curtain, so I'm going to do it anyways. I am a little nervous with it because it doesn't fit great with the pattern, so I'm definitely going to have to make a lot of modifications to make it fit. So I'm going to hopefully take my time, cut everything tonight, and then tomorrow I can just assemble the dress. My first step is to flip this inside out, and then I have to base stitch the waistband together and then put it onto the dress. Once that's done, I have to do the back extension plate, hem the dress, and I think that will be it for this dress basically, other than doing the eyelets. What? Did I make pants? Okay, I have to try this on. What did I do? Starting off with a mistake already? Oh, it works. Oh my gosh. So dress part 1 is done. Now for part 2. So a close-up of the curtain. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this curtain so much, so I'm really hoping that this dress turns out nice. The bottom is just beautiful. So this curtain was $10. As you can see, it has been ripped and there's a couple stains on it, but I'm just gonna work around that. I might actually include this ripped one, I don't know yet. So basically my idea is I want this to be the bust. I want this to go under the bust, and then this would be the bottom of the skirt. I don't know if it's going to work out. I have my puzzle pieces. I have my pattern pieces. So I'm basically just gonna lay this out and then put all of the pattern pieces onto it, see what I can kind of work out, what I can think to do, and we'll see if it works. I've figured it out. My initial plan was to have basically cut it all in one piece. This would be the bust all the way down, and that would be the base of the skirt. But this isn't long enough. It only goes to above my ankle, so obviously I want a bit of a longer dress. So my plan, I've decided to use the top of the curtain instead. I'm going to start all of the skirts just under this edge, going all the way. And then I'm going to unpick all the lace there and sew it to the bottom. For the top, I'm basically just going to use one of these big flowers as the middle, cut two. This will have a little bit of detail onto the shoulder, which at first I didn't like, but I think it'll be okay because it'll blend it all together. Then I'm going to unpick some of this lace and lay it over top the front, right under the bust. So I'll still have that detail, but it won't be all one piece. The sleeve will be started at the top of these longer floral details, so that will come down to about here all along the sleeve. And then for the armband, I'm also going to unpick some of this, so this lace detail will be the armband. I'm going to start off with the skirt, and I'm going to cut them individually because I don't think I can match the pattern on the fold, so I might as well just cut them out individually. So we'll see if this works out. The material frays really easily, so I think French seams would be good for the skirt. And I think for the bodice, since it is lined, I'll do a stay stitching for most of the edges. And I think it should be okay because the lining is there. I'm hoping. So I have all of the pieces cut out. That took forever because I was trying to make sure I was getting all of the embroidery detail I wanted. So I think before I call it a night, I'm going to do my skirt, put that all together. I'm going to put together the front and back bodice. If it goes quicker than I'm thinking because of the French seams, then I think I might put together my sleeve and maybe even attach the sleeve to the dress, but I don't know if I'm going to get that far. So I'm going to start with the skirt. I have to see if I remember how to do French seams. I'm pretty sure I do. It's been a while though. I think the last time I did them was for my bell dress, which was like September. Let's see if the old noodle retained it. The first step for French seams is you want your right sides on the outside. So you want your wrong sides together. And then I'm going to pin this all down the side and then bring it to the sewing machine and do a 1/4 inch stitch all the way down the one side. So I'm going to go do that now. So now you want to flip over your seam, and I'm going to give that a press. Now you're going to fold it over and give it another press And you want your seam to be right up against the edge, nice and flat and straight. Now, once it's pressed, you're going to take this to the machine and give it another 1/2 inch stitch using this folded over edge as your raw edge. Now that you're finished, you open this up and you can see that your raw edge is encased into the seam. Now just give it another good press and 4 more panels to go.
Mother brain, why doesn't history tell us the mystery? Why doesn't somebody live? Oh, Georgie knew a thing or two, I'll agree. The Independence Declaration says liberty. So
You were eating snow again, weren't you? Silly dog. The end is in sight. So all the pieces of the dress are finished. Can I finish talking? I have all the skirt panels put together. I have all the bodice put together and the lining is in. I have put the sleeves together. So I'm going to start with putting the sleeves onto the bodice, and then I'll attach the bodice to the skirt. Give everything a good press. I'm really anxious to see how it's all going to look put together and to see if it actually fits. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to start with putting the sleeves onto the bodice, then attach the bodice to the dress, and then get working on the lace trim of the hem of the dress and the lace detail underneath the bust on the waist. And then I'll try it all on and hopefully we'll have a reveal. Applique, more like applique. So last steps, I have to hand sew the lining to the armholes and the bodice at the waist, clip any fray edges or threads. Then I have to sew on the buttons so it does up in the front, and then we'll have the reveal tomorrow. I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. There is one thing that I just noticed, honestly. I put it on the dress form and then it just kind of clicked. So there is some floral work going down from the waist, which I wanted to do because I thought that would look nice with the waist and I thought it would blend well with the lace that I put here. But now I'm thinking I should have switched the skirt upside down so the floral detail would have come up on the bottom here instead of coming down the waist. Kind of kicking myself that I didn't think of this earlier. It still looks really nice. I like that you can kind of see the flower underneath it and it's consistent all the way around. So at least it looks like it's supposed to be there. So it's not the end of the world, but I really wish I would have thought of that. So I'm going to go sew on some buttons and I will see you for the reveal. I'm so happy with the way this dress turned out. It's exactly how I pictured it when I first went into this project. I honestly can't believe how similar my thoughts to this was. I'm so happy. I absolutely loved that curtain when I first saw it. I didn't care that there was damage on it. I didn't care that there were stains on it. I just fell in love with it. The floral detail, the lace, the trim, all of it was just, I just loved it so much. And I wanted to use as much of that curtain as I could, and I was terrified to cut into it because I honestly didn't want to ruin it. But I bought that curtain specifically for this project, so I knew I had to do it. And I'm so happy I did because I was able to get everything that I loved about that curtain into this dress. The color, the floral detail, the lace trim, the floral embroidery, just all of it. I'm just so happy with it. I was able to take it all and make it work on the dress, and I don't even know how I did it. I kind of blanked it all out. The one thing that I'm kind of disappointed about, because I tried so hard to pattern match this bust area, is that it doesn't stay closed completely. I have snaps under here, and I do need to add one extra snap here. I have 5 snaps going down, and I think adding a 6th right up top here will make a big difference, but it still leaves a little bit of a gap. And it's not because it's too tight. It's honestly not tight at all. There is a lot of room under here, so it's not pulling. I think it's just because I didn't use interfacing, because obviously it's very see-through, so you would see it, the white interfacing. I think it's just very delicate, so it's not sturdy enough to kind of hold up. But all I did was take a couple flat pins and I just stuck them right in there. You can't really notice it that much, but other than that, I think the pattern matching is pretty spot on. At the top it matches, right under here at the very bottom, it all matches very, very well. So I think I did a pretty good job with that, and I'm really happy that it came out the way it did. I'm really happy that I did the French seams. I'm really happy that I remembered how to do French seams. I think it's only the 2nd time I did them, but they turned out really nice. And it definitely makes the inside of the dress a lot cleaner. And having the double lining on the back, on the inside, and then slip stitching everything around the armholes and then under the bust, it all looks super clean inside. The dress underneath was never supposed to be the star. I knew it was just going to be the underdress. It still looks really nice and it fits well. My only issue, and I had such a hard time getting ready, because I'm wearing my stays underneath, which is a lace-up back. Then the dress underneath is a lace-up back. Thankfully, my vision was having the open face so the front would be tied together, but I had kind of went back and forth thinking maybe I should have it tie up in the back to match the other dresses. Super happy I didn't do that because I hurt my shoulder and I can barely bring my arm around to do anything. I've actually had to lace up my back of both dresses with just my left hand, and then I had to pull it around and tie it in the front. Oh my goodness, this was a beast to get on. And there's a lot of layers under here. I have a chemise and a slip on, and then I have my Regency stays, and then I have the underdress, and then I have this overdress. No wonder they have perfect posture. I have so many layers that I don't even think I could bend if I wanted to. Maybe I need to wear this more often. I feel very straight backed, which is probably a really good thing, and I'm probably using muscles that I haven't used in a while. But I'm really happy I went a size up, because I think if I would have actually cut out and made the dress in my size, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have fit. So it was definitely a happy accident. Thank the sewing gods that that worked out, because oh my gosh, I would have been so mad. I wasn't going to do a reveal for this because I actually made this for the foundations reveal competition. But then I thought, if anybody is watching this to the very end, they're probably gonna wanna see what the dress looks like. So obviously I had to do something. So I'll be releasing my video on Wednesday at noon. I'm gonna replace my Friday video for a Wednesday video to showcase this look in my literary character. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, and I hope you subscribe. I will see everybody on Wednesday.
You're silly.
The first step for your... I don't know what to say.
Holy.
Ooh. Feels so formal. Gotcha. It's too hot for these. Ugh.
Who's that? Is that your Steggy? Is that Steggy?